I signed up for tonight's show because it was named after my wife, whose name is Lies, L-I-E-S, which is the Dutch version of Elizabeth, which is a really cool warning signal on the phone which identifies telemarketers, because they're always calling up and saying, "Hello, is Lies Garner there?" Or is Les Garner there? So we know them. We don't know them right away, and also that they're ignorant of the sound of music. So it's not that hard. So House of Lies, yeah, it doesn't mean she runs a place, though she often does. But House of Lies does not apply to us because we run a really nice, honest operation up in Lincoln Square. That's all I've got to say about that. House of Lies. Now, what kind of materials would you need to build a house like that? I'll admit now that I'm a very bad liar because my memory is just terrible. I can't keep reality straight, let alone an invented reality. If ABC, not a problem. But raising two families? A guy must have his reasons, I suppose, like a hyper sex drive, a thrill at deception, an unexplainable urge to cut 2 lawns a week. Maybe he just hates school recitals and always needs an excuse not to go to one or the other. But think of the lies that spreads every waking minute. Think of the damage you'd be doing to multiple people, especially innocent children. There would be an extraordinary deception, a ruinous, monumental, plague-like lie. A lie beyond what anybody here, I hope, could concoct. But now, what about lies that aren't so monumental? The lies in my house growing up weren't big lies. They wouldn't get you on the Maury Povich show. They didn't involve, secret criminal pasts or domestic abuse or financial fraud. They were small. They were offhand. But they were everywhere, grinding underfoot like kidney stones, tripping us up like pebbles. I can picture myself in the confession box at church, under pressure to come up with sins to be forgiven of, like every 7-year-old does. So you start casting around for any fuck-ups of the week. Like, did you swear? Yeah, I just said fuck-up. Father. Argued with your brothers? Yeah, everybody argued with your brothers. Told any lies? Lies? Yeah, sure, I must have, right? I mean, aren't I telling them right now, Father, so you can forgive me? Here's a partial list of the lies that I told regularly at my house. Are they big or are they small? How big do they have to be? You boys are all just like your father. My dad was a finance guy at Ford Motor Credit and kept everything so bottled up that he had 3 heart attacks and died by the age of 50. He used to say, if you're talking, you ain't thinking. So to be more like him, I kept my mouth shut. Of course your father's Catholic. He'd punch you out if you hinted at anything different. But he never went to church with us at Christmas or Easter, so for a deep-rooted faith that was essential to him, he never bothered to show it. We're a very, very happy family, even though we walked around each other on eggshells, never took vacations together or played sports together, had no shared interests or much compassion for each other. Had the internet been around, we'd have been so glued to our screens that news reporters would have used us as the examples of today's isolated family. And there weren't many chances to fix or clarify this because, if you're talking, you ain't thinking. And I internalized all these lies, among many others, because I wanted to take them as truth. You expect your parents to tell you the truth. I spent energy, hours, tears, and screams rationalizing and elaborating and trying to make these my truth. Because even when you feel worthless, even when you feel like there's an expiration ticket someplace on you and you'll be pulled aside someday and asked to make way for somebody better, you still want to know your own story. And that's why I'm paranoid about lies, even little ones. They all gain a life of their own. Sometimes you work hard to make them true, sometimes you're complicit in them, and then when they start to smother you, you can't make them go away without ripping apart huge pieces of yourself. And they don't go away without a fight, because you've worked hard to make them true, even as they've crippled you. When I finally went into therapy, years after my brothers did, I was able to grind down a few of these lies I had made of my own. Grind down, but not eliminate them. That I was born for great things, but would never amount to anything. That I was smart, but no one needed or wanted to hear my opinion. that any suffering I endured was offered up to the saints. But really, it was inconsequential compared to other suffering, so forget about it. And the biggest lie of all, that I had zero to contribute. Now, you might say, I'm just whining. Call my mother, she would say I'm just whining. But the binge drinking, the panic attacks, the paralyzing anxiety, and the suicidal thoughts were all real enough. You might argue that these weren't really monumental lies we told each other. They weren't conscious deceptions. They were only thoughtless cliches that people repeat over time. You might be right, but that leaves us with two questions. If they weren't lies, then why do they pervert the truth, and why does the damage take so long to fix? And two, if repeating these little cliches is how you build a house of lies, how do any of us stop ourselves from doing the exact same thing?